Following a developing story in the NBA as the league today postponed the Memphis Grizzlies' next 3 games due to COVID-19 and contact tracing. According to Adrian Wojnarowski, this marks a shift in how the league is handling COVID-19 issues within teams. Essentially, the NBA is now putting a team on pause once a roster has been exposed to the virus. And this change in approach comes in the wake of what has transpired with the Washington Wizards. The team has not played a game since January 11th and is now on the verge of resuming its schedule. Here's Michelle Steele on the outbreak that has shut down the Wizards.
Washington, D.C. is the capital of the NBA's pandemic problem. The Wizards have had 6 games postponed due to COVID.
You don't ever think, never in my wildest imagination thought we would have a 2-week break in the middle of January. But unfortunately it is, what's going on is real.
It feels like everything we do it's definitely unprecedented. You can't imagine it a year ago.
After a pause of 9 days, the team was finally able to practice briefly last night and practiced again today. But the NBA's decision to cancel Friday's game with Milwaukee underscores the tricky balance the league needs to strike between staying on schedule and keeping players healthy.
What's first and foremost in everybody's mind is trying to make sure everybody on the floor is healthy. That's what the protocol's for.
A lot of guys are, they want to play, they want to make their money. But, there's a lot of guys who are, their biggest thing is the health of them and their families and making sure that, they're safe. And so it's kind of a fine line between the two.
Everybody has families and we want to all be safe. And like I said last night, it's real. It's real. 4,200 people passed away yesterday.
Right now, the Wizards are scheduled to play Sunday in San Antonio, but they'll be shorthanded. With only 9 players even eligible to practice, the plan, Brooks says, is to rally around each other. For ESPN, I'm Michelle Steele.
Okay, the Jump's Rachel Nichols joining us now on SportsCenter. Rachel, what's your sense as to why the league is continuing to push through and play on at this point rather than pausing to kind of reassess its approach to COVID-19 right now?
Because they have all the information already, at least as much information that's possible to have when you're dealing with this virus. And this is an $8 billion a year business in 30 different markets with different levels of community spread. And look, it's not like when they decided to go forward with this season, they didn't know that this was going to be the cost, that there would be a cost to competitive balance, that it would put players at the risk of more kinds of injuries because you're starting and stopping because of COVID-related problems. What they had to deal with, what's in front of them is what is the best way to dance around this and get through it until you can get to a point where players are their turn in line to be vaccinated. And that's all this is at this point, because if you just paused and stopped the whole league down for 2 extra weeks, sure, it would help the Grizzlies, it would help the Wizards, as Michelle just pointed out. But what happens when a few days later, it's 2 other markets that's the problem? You're chasing your tail on this, dealing with this virus. It's the same issue that the NFL had, college football had, baseball had. Until there's a vaccine, if you run a sports league, this is what's going to happen.
Okay, good perspective there. Let's go to the court here with the Nets. And they lost a wild game, double overtime last night, giving up 147 points to the Cavaliers. It was the first time we saw the new Big Three, and we had you on the show the day James Harden was traded to Brooklyn, and we talked about the defense. How worried should Brooklyn be right now about this defense?
I'm going to say not worried, with the caveat that this is because I think that Steve Nash and James Harden and Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving and Mike D'Antoni have all been around the block enough that they understand there is no defensive stopper on this team. There is no one riding in to be the cavalry. So what it is going to take is high effort from these stars every single game, a team-first, self-sacrificing approach. And if they do that, they should be able to improve their defensive efficiency. The bottom line is the Nets right now rank 21st in the league in that category. Only one team, just one, in the last 25 years has been able to win a title when they are outside the top 20 in defensive efficiency. That's the 01 Lakers. And that team, it's so famous that they flipped the switch. That's what they're known for. No one else has done it in the last 2 decades, Kevin. And my guess is that Steve Nash has access to all those data points just like us.
More stuff, more good stuff from Rachel Nichols each and every weekday on The Jump, 3 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. Rachel, thank you.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.